Hi guys, thanks for joining me on Making with Marilyn. On today's video, I'm just going to do a super quick Valentine's Day project. I'm going to put infusible ink on 2 red pot holders that I bought at the Dollar Tree store. So let me show you how I did this. I clicked upload and I have my recently uploaded images. Insert images, and here it is. Now this red square just designates the size of my pot holder. So what I did is I went to Shapes, Square, and then I turned it red because my pot holder is red. I wanted it to be the size of the usable portion of my pot holder. So clicked on More and I changed the width to 6.25. And since the dimensions are locked, that'll change the width and the height. Let me go back and fix that. Okay, so I can put it up here where my heart is, and then I need to send this red square to the back. So I'll click Arrange, Send to Back, and here's my little heart. I wanted my heart fairly large. I didn't have a particular size in mind, so I just made it about the size that I thought would look good. Okay, for now I'm going to go ahead and hide the square so that I can keep working on the initials. The next thing I did, I selected text, and then I typed T space plus space M. And I'm using the Amelia font. I ungrouped them so that I could move the letters closer together without making them skinnier. Then I hit Align, Center vertically, and there we go. Now I want to go ahead and weld those together. Let me show you why. I'm going to change that font color. Oops. I'll at least group them so I can move them. Whoops. So I can move them together up onto this heart. I need to make it smaller. Okay, so what I need to do so that the red from my pot holder shows through this heart, I need to slice this out of the heart. And that will basically make a hole in the heart so that your red fabric from behind shows. But if I try to do it now, I can't. And that's because I have multiple images. So let me hide my heart. You can only slice with 2 images. So to make these 3 letters, the plus sign, whatever you want to call them, one image, you have to weld them together. Okay, so I can bring my heart back. And now when I select the heart and the T plus M image, then slice is an option. So I slice it, and then I can just drag this out of the way, delete that, move it back up there. I'll bring back my red square, and that's what it's going to look like. I'm going to go ahead and hide what I have on the left because I end up liking the one on the right better. And then I really don't need to cut the red, so I'm going to go ahead and delete that. And this is all we're left with. This is all I'm cutting. So let me click on Make It. I need to mirror the image so that the letters turn out facing the right direction. I'll click Continue. I'm going to use Infusible Ink transfer sheet. It reminds me make sure that the mirror is turned on and that I have my fine point blade in clamp B. The first thing I'm going to do is get my mat ready. Now you use a standard grip mat with the Infusible Ink. This is no longer strong enough to be a strong grip mat, so I am treating this as a standard grip mat. You place your material down with the shiny carrier sheet down against the mat. What you see here really will turn out black. It looks brown now, but as it heats up and infuses, it will change to a black. You want to get it stuck down really nicely. Again, make sure that you do have your image mirrored for a correct cut. I have my fine point blade in, so let's go ahead and load the material and then I'll send it to cut. Okay, let's go ahead and remove this from the mat and then we'll start weeding. I like to turn my material over to keep it as flat as possible, lifting the mat instead of the material. I don't like a lot of waste, and so I'm going to go ahead and cut tightly around this heart so I can preserve anything that is usable. Now, infusible ink is a little bit different to weed. Basically, you just kind of bend until it starts to release. And some places it's cut all the way through, some places it hasn't. So sometimes it can be a little bit tricky to find where you want to start. Okay, so I want to leave this on the transfer sheet. And there we go. Break some away. Then usually you can just start pulling around and it weeds pretty nicely. Okay, now I need to get those letters out. So I'm just going to bend up and hopefully it will, there we go, start to lift. Okay, so it'll be face down like that. And you can see that looks really nice. Now there's a couple things to think about when you are weeding your infusible ink. First of all, you want your hands to be really clean of oils. And then second of all, you really don't want to use a weeding tool where you might scratch the ink. This ink does scratch very easily, so you want to be aware of that. For the infusible ink transfer sheets on polyester, you're going to set your Easy Press 2 to 385 degrees for 40 seconds. So that's what it was defaulted to. That's what I had it on last. It was already pretty warm when I turned it on, so that won't take too long to heat up. Here's my 2 pot holders that I got from the Dollar Tree. That was 2 for $1. The first thing that you want to do is you want to preheat these, get some of the moisture out of it. And I'm going to do that for about 15 seconds. Before you put your infusible ink on, you're supposed to let it cool all the way down, and then also you're supposed to use the lint roller to get off any stray fibers. With the seams around this pot holder, I'm going to put these little pieces of wood under the easy press mat just so it can kind of fold over the edges of the wood, hopefully get a more tight fit. I want this about in the center. I'm just going to eyeball it. It doesn't have to be perfect. And that's why you want to let your pot holder cool down before you put your ink down in case you do want to move it. You don't want the ink to start infusing before you get it situated. The other thing is, once you set your heat down, you don't want your infusible ink to shift at all. So I use a couple pieces of this heat-resistant tape. I got it off Amazon. The first time I used infusible ink, as soon as I set the Easy Press down on it, the Easy Press is so slippery, and the top of the transfer sheet is so slippery that it slipped just a little bit, and I was worried about the ghosting or the shading or shadowing effect. Okay, go ahead and set this down. They say you don't need to put a lot of pressure on it, but I tend to put pressure on it. I don't think it's going to hurt, and if anything, it's going to help get it to be a much snugger fit down against the fabric. They tell you that you should wait for your fabric to cool all the way down before you remove your infusible ink. Okay, let's see what we have. Now you can see exactly where the lines were because they weren't as tight against the infusible ink as where the lines, where the squares were. But you can see the pot holder looks wonderful. That is really, really cute. So if you want to make something that is cute, special for Valentine's Day, customized, and only cost a few dollars, this is a great option for you. I decided to make a second design. I have seen this on Pinterest, and so I made my own version of it. I'm going to put this on 2 red oven mitts. Now the word Kiss and Cook is the Amelia font. I have that written right here. And then the is Gloucester, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. And then I have this set of lips that I just found that image online as well. Now I need a second one, so I'm going to click Duplicate, make it, continue. Now I notice here my mirror is off, so I need to edit that. I can click Mirror and then tell it I'm done. Infusible ink transfer sheet. And default pressure is fine. I'll make sure that my fine point blade is in clamp B. And I'll change the camera around and we'll keep working. Okay, so here's my design, and I added okay, I think that looks pretty good. Now I am just reusing some of my heat-resistant tape from my prior pot holder, just enough to kind of hold it in place. Now I forgot on my last design to use the butcher paper that they provide for you. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. be sure to let this cool down some. They tell you to let it cool completely. I never do, but that is what's recommended. Okay, so I'm going to pull up on a corner and then I'm just going to pull straight up. And that's really cute, very cute. It'll go really well with my pot holder that I made. I love how these turned out. They're Valentine's Day inspired, but you could use them anytime you want. I'll go ahead and make the other pot holder and the other oven mitt, and I'll be ready for the 14th. Now, if you find anything in my video helpful or inspiring, please give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, leave them in the comment section. And if you'd like to see what I'll be working on in the future, hit that subscribe button. Then, if you tap the bell, YouTube should notify you when I upload new content. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Marilyn. Bye-bye.